Hello everyone, and welcome to my B&B Fan Club channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Will's boots hit the pavement outside Forrester Creations at a dead sprint, their echo drowned out by the late afternoon heat glistening off the Los Angeles streets. His heartbeat sounded louder than the traffic on Beverly Boulevard, with each beat screaming the same name, Luna. The SMS from an unknown number remained on his phone. She was in the warehouse on Alameda. Come alone or she will disappear forever. There was no signature or ransom, only a grainy snapshot of Luna strapped to a metal chair, her dark hair matted with sweat and eyes wide with panic that stabbed at his gut. He didn't need a signature. He knew who was behind it. Bill. And Sheila. The two names tasted like rust in his lips. He jumped into his black SUV, the tires roaring as he accelerated away from the curb. The city blurred past him. Pom-poms, advertisements, the sparkle of glass towers, but all he saw was Luna's face in the photograph. She'd been absent for 36 hours. It's been 36 hours since she kissed him farewell outside the studio and promised to meet him for supper. It's been 36 hours since he let her go away alone. Guilt tightened around his ribcage, making it difficult for him to breathe. He should have known better. Should have seen the tempest brewing the moment Bill started sniffing around Luna, all smooth smiles and subtle threats. And Sheila, God, Sheila Carter was a human hurricane, wrapped in red lipstick and delusions. The warehouse district loomed ahead, a tangle of rusting corrugated metal and broken street lamps. Will killed the headlights 2 blocks away, coming to a stop behind a stack of abandoned shipping containers. The air smelled of diesel and salt from the neighboring port. He took the Glock from his glove compartment, legal, registered, and a gift from Ridge when Sheila attempted to destroy their world the last time, and tucked it into the waistline of his jeans. His phone vibrated again. Another photograph. Luna's head drooped forward, a small line of blood running from her temple. The caption reads, "Tick tick Spencer." Will's vision tunneled. He forced himself to breathe and think. Bill wanted him frightened and irresponsible. Sheila wished him dead. Neither would get what they want. Not tonight. Not while Luna's life was in the balance. He crept through the shadows like a predator, every feeling heightened. The warehouse in question crouched at the end of the row, its roll-up door broken open just enough to let a sliver of yellow light shine onto the cracked tarmac. Voices drifted out, low, hurried, and plainly enraged. "You said he'd be groveling." Bill's baritone cracked like a whip. "Don't storm in here like a cowboy." Sheila's chuckle slithered across the air, sharp like broken glass. "Oh, he will come. And when he does, I'll put a bullet between those beautiful blue eyes. Luna is only the bait, sweetie. You promised me Forrester blood." Will's blood became cold. He moved closer, pressing against the wall beside the entrance. He saw them through the gap. Bill pacing in a fitted blue suit, hair slicked back, mouth squeezed tight enough to crush walnuts. Sheila leaned against a stack of containers, a pistol dangling from her manicured fingers. Luna was in the midst of the concrete floor, still chained and bleeding but alive. Her chest lifted and fell with faint, uneven breaths. Will's heart lurched. "Change of plans," Bill said abruptly, pausing to loom over Luna. He gripped her chin and forced her head up. "You tell your partner to stop bothering with my company, legacy and life, or I'll start ripping chunks off of you. Starting with those exquisite tiny fingers he adores." Luna's eyes widened, glassy and defiant. "Will's going to end you," she growled. "Both of you." Sheila walked over, dragging a nail across Luna's cheek. Big words for a girl who's about to become chum for the sharks in the harbor. She looked at Bill. "We do not have time for games. Spencer has undoubtedly already contacted his father. Liam is probably crying to hope. The entire cavalry is approaching." "Let them," Bill muttered. "I have enough dirt on each Forrester to bury them 6 feet under. Starting with that sanctimonious prick Ridge." Will tightened his hold on his revolver. He examined the interior, finding 2 exits, one guarded by a goon in a poor suit and the other blocked by a forklift. Crates are placed high enough to provide cover. There is a rusted yet solid catwalk overhead. He could deal with this. He would deal with this. He slid inside, as silent as a ghost, using the forklift's shadow to conceal his approach. The goon was obliviously looking through his phone. Will went at him in 2 strides, the buttstock of his Glock cracking against the man's temple. The guard slumped with no sound. Will hauled him behind the boxes, zip-tying his wrists with the plastic cuffs he had retrieved from his glove box. "One down." "Sheila," Bill murmured abruptly, his voice lowering to a menacing whisper. "Do you hear that?" Sheila's head snapped toward the door, the weapon raised. "Wind," she dismissed, but her gaze was sharp and probing. Will froze while pressed hard against a metal support beam. His mind raced with possibilities. Take Sheila first, she was the wild card. Then Bill. Luna is free. Get out. Simple. However, nothing was simple for these two. Luna's voice pierced through the tension, faint yet consistent. "You're scared," she said, Bill. "I'm scared of what Will do if he finds out you coordinated the takeover bid. I'm afraid of what Ridge will do if he finds out you tried to frame him for embezzlement." Bill backhanded her. The crack sounded like a gunshot. Luna's head snapped to the side, revealing new blood on her lip. Will saw red. He emerged from the shadows, rifle leveled. "Touch her again," he hissed, his voice low and lethal, "and I'll put one in your spine." Bill whirled, his eyes expanding briefly before narrowing into slits. Sheila's grin was full of teeth. "Oh well. The prince has arrived." "Drop your weapons," Will said. "Both of you. Now." Sheila tilted her head mockingly. "Or what? Will you shoot us in front of your precious Luna? Stain her lovely white garment with our blood?" She pointed to Luna's ripped sundress, originally sky blue but now marred with filth and scarlet. Bill's hand moved toward his jacket. Will's finger clenched on the trigger. "I said drop them." Luna's voice was practically a whisper. "Behind you." He pivoted just as another goon sprang from the catwalk, knife shining. Will shot immediately at center mass. The man shouted, sliding over the railing and landing with a horrible thud. Sheila took advantage of the commotion, ducking behind the crates and laughing maniacally. Bill tackled Will, knocking the rifle from his hand. It skittered across the concrete. They grappled, punches flying. Bill was larger and heavier, but Will was faster, driven by wrath and panic. He rammed his knee into Bill's stomach and elbowed his throat. Bill gasped, his hold relaxing. Will scrambled for the revolver, but Sheila was already there, handgun held against Luna's temple. She sings. "One more move and Princess will have a third eye." Will froze, hands raised. Bill struggled to his feet and wiped the blood from his mouth. "You always were a disappointment," he said. "Should have left you in that Australian gutter where I found you." The words landed harder than any punch. Will's jaw clenched. "You can't rewrite history, old man." "You don't get to touch her," Bill said, his smile chilly. "I can do whatever I want. I am Bill Spencer. And you are the mistake I never should have made." Sheila rolled her eyes. "Enough of the daddy troubles. Let us end this." She cocked the hammer. Time slowed. Will locked eyes with Luna. He saw everything in them: trust, love, and a future worth fighting for. He mouthed, "I love you." Then he moved. He dove away as Sheila shot, the bullet bouncing off the pavement where he had stood. He rolled and came up with the dead goon's knife. "Bill is charged." Will sidestepped and slashed across Bill's forearm. Blood was sprayed. Bill yelled and swung wildly. Will ducked and rammed his shoulder into Bill's midsection, pulling him off his feet and throwing him into the boxes. Wood splintered. Bill slumped, disoriented. Sheila shrieked in a banshee howl before firing again. The bullet grazed Will's shoulder, sending fire down his arm. He gritted his teeth and attacked. She swung the rifle at Luna. Will tackled her, and the contact sent them both to the ground. The revolver flew from her fingers, clattering into the darkness. They battled like beasts, with Sheila clawing at his eyes and Will pinning her wrists. She kneed him in the crotch and he saw stars but hung on. Luna's voice was raspy yet fierce. "Will, those zip ties." He cast a peek over. Luna moved her chair closer to the fallen goon's knife, hacking at her shackles. One wrist became free. She took the knife and started on the other. Sheila gave him a headbutt. Pain erupted across his face. She scrambled for her gun. Will kicked it aside, sending it whirling beneath the forklift. Sirens sounded in the distance. Someone had called the cops. Good. Let them arrive. Bill moved, grumbling. Will grabbed a length of rope from a container and bound Bill's hands behind his back. Sheila lunged again, her nails scraping his cheek. He backhanded her hard. She collapsed out cold. Luna was free. She lurched to him, knees wobbly, and he grabbed her, squeezing her against his chest. She smelled like blood, terror, and home. "I've got you," he said softly into her hair. "I've got you." Police rushed through the doors, shouting demands. Will raised his hands as Luna clung to his side. "They kidnapped her," he stated calmly, despite the tremble in his limbs. "Bill Spencer, Sheila Carter. Attempted murder. Check the bodies." And cop handcuffed Bill, who was just coming around and spitting curses. Another person put handcuffs on Sheila, who blinked groggily, lipstick smeared like a war wound. Luna delivered her explanation through trembling teeth, relying largely on Will. Paramedics swarmed, covering her in a blanket and checking her vital signs. Will drew Luna inside the ambulance, surrounded by red and blue lights. The doors shut, blocking off the ruckus. She cuddled into his side, resting her head on his good shoulder. "Marry me," he exclaimed abruptly, the words rushing out before he could process them. She looked up, her eyes sparkling with tears and something brighter. "What?" "Marry me. Today. Tomorrow. As soon as they let you leave here. I don't care about the drama, the press, or the family garbage. I desire you. Forever begins now." Luna laughed, a broken but wonderful sound. "Yes," she whispered. "God, yes." He kissed her slowly and deeply, tasting salt, copper, and promise. The ambulance lurched toward the hospital, its sirens fading into the night. Behind them, Bill and Sheila were placed into separate cop vehicles, making threats that faded into the horizon. The emergency room at Cedars-Sinai was a flurry. Stitches on Will's shoulder. X-rays of Luna's ribs. Cracked but not broken. Intravenous fluids. Pain medication. Ridge and Brooke arrived first, faces pallid, and wrapped Luna in hugs that made her wince. Liam and Hope followed, then Steffi, her eyes crimson from sobbing. Finn even showed in, still in scrubs and scowling as he checked Luna's chart. "You're lucky," he said. "Concussion and dehydration, but you will recover." Will never left her side. When the nurses attempted to separate them for tests, he flashed the ring he'd purchased months before. Hidden in his sock drawer, waiting for the perfect time that never seemed to arrive. He slid it onto her finger right there in the hospital bed. A simple platinum band with a single diamond that sparkled in the fluorescent light like a star. "Will Spencer," Luna whispered, her voice heavy with emotion. "You're insane." "Insane about you," he replied. 3 days later, the wedding took place at dawn in the Forrester Rose Garden. No press. There's no spectacle. Just family, the people who cared. Luna donned an ivory lace dress borrowed from Brooke's closet, which Carter had altered overnight with his deft fingers. Will donned the identical suit from the warehouse, with bloodstains replaced with a new shirt. Ridge officiated, his voice shaking as he declared them husband and wife. Bill and Sheila watched from separate downtown holding cells as they were arraigned for kidnapping, assault, and attempted murder. The proof was clear. Security footage from a nearby wharf, Luna's blood on their clothes, and the deceased goon's body cam capturing every threat. Bail was rejected. The Spencer and Carter empires imploded under the weight of scandal, which dominated headlines for weeks. But in the garden, none of that existed. There was only Luna, dazzling despite the bruises on her cheek, and Will, his gaze fixed on hers as if she were the only real thing in the universe. They exchanged vows on scraps of hospital notepaper, promising to fight for each other, to choose love over fear, and to construct a life that could withstand any storm. When they kissed, the sun rose above the hills, painting the roses gold. Luna's hand met Will's, fingers entwined around the ring that connected them. A new day dawned off in the horizon, free of shadows, dangers, and the ghosts created by Bill and Sheila. They went hand in hand through the garden gate, toward a future they'd almost missed. And in the stillness of the dawn, with the perfume of jasmine thick in the air, Will knew one thing above all. He had saved Luna. But she, in turn, had rescued him. The warehouse horror faded into oblivion, leaving behind the steady cadence of her heartbeat against his. They had survived. They'd won. And now they had eternity. Will was never a man who hesitated. From the moment he learned to stand on his own 2 feet, he knew that courage meant doing things that others were afraid to even consider. But, as he discovered, courage was a lot simpler when the risks did not involve someone he loved. The storm over Los Angeles had been brewing since daybreak, with thick clouds sweeping in from the coast, splattering the city in shades of steel and charcoal. The rain fell fiercely, pounding against the windows of the Forrester estate where Will stood, his reflection pale on the glass. Luna was stranded somewhere out there, and with each passing second, she moved further away from him. Behind him, shouts grew shrill, furious, and unrelenting. "You've lost your mind, Will." Bill Spencer's voice cut through the tension like thunder. "You cannot just storm in there. Sheila isn't playing games this time. She has Luna, and if you push her, she'll kill her." Will turned slowly, his gaze hardening. "If I don't leave, she will kill her anyway. Sheila does not negotiate. She destroys." Sheila Carter chuckled in the corner of the room, a deep, frightening sound that filled the air like smoke. "Oh, sweetheart, you make it sound so dramatic," she murmured, her crimson lips twisting into a smile that did not reach her eyes. "You think I'm the villain here, but maybe Luna isn't as innocent as you believe." Bill yelled, whirling towards her. "You stay the hell out of here." But Sheila merely grinned wider, enjoying the turmoil she had caused. "Don't pretend you aren't captivated, Bill. You've always had a hunger for destruction." Will disregarded both of them. He put on his jacket, grabbed the keys from the table, and moved toward the door. "Will." Bill's voice softened, pinched with fatherly concern. "Listen to me, son. Sheila has nothing to lose. You can't fix this by walking into her trap," Will said, pausing for a heartbeat before looking back. His voice rang out low and steady. "You taught me to fight for what's important. Luna matters." And then he was gone. The rain hit him like a wall as he went outdoors, but he didn't notice. His car roared to life, cutting through the slick streets as he drove toward the cliffs outside Malibu. The same cliffs where Sheila had hidden her twisted empire under the guise of elegance and power. Will realized she had gone too far this time. Luna had been innocent, dragged into Sheila's plans only because she had witnessed something she shouldn't have. A cargo, a reward, a covert meeting that linked Sheila to crimes that could devastate half the city. Luna wanted to tell Will everything. But before she could, she vanished. Will's pulse raced with rage and fear. He could picture her face in his head. Her beautiful brown eyes, the way she smiled when no one was watching. Luna was a beacon of light in an otherwise dark world. He was not going to let the light go out. By the time he arrived at the mansion, the storm had intensified. Lightning ripped through the sky, lighting up the black mansion perched on the cliff's brink. He turned off the engine, walked outside, and let the rain soak through his clothes. Every instinct told him he was putting himself in danger. But he did not stop. Inside, the home was silent, too silent. Will stepped cautiously, his boots echoing on the marble floors. The air smelt like salt and iron, with a faint hint of something metallic that made his stomach twist. Then he heard it. A faint sound from below. A voice. A whimper. He followed it down the tiny stairway into the basement. In a poorly lighted room, he found her. Luna sat chained to a chair. Her face pale but her eyes filled with relief when she saw him. "Will," she muttered. "You shouldn't have come. I wasn't going to leave you," he murmured, crossing the room and crouching beside her. "I'm getting you out." But before he could untie her, a shadow came behind him. The click of a rifle resonated in the air. "Touch her," Sheila's voice said from the doorway, "and I'll paint the walls with your courage." Will froze. Slowly he turned, his jaw stiffening as he met her eyes. "You have made your point, Sheila. Let her go." "Oh, Will," she whispered almost softly. "Do you really believe that love is enough to heal this? She saw something she should not have. And you're only your father's son, always rushing in to save the gorgeous girl." "I'm not like my father," Sheila said, raising an eyebrow. "Are you?" "He would walk through fire for the lady he adores. He'd burn everything to the ground to get her back." Will's expression tightened. "Then maybe I am like him." He rushed, taking her by surprise. The rifle fired, creating a deafening boom in the small environment. Will's shoulder ached with pain, but he refused to give up. He slammed toward her, knocking the weapon out of her hands. It skittered across the floor and landed near Luna's feet. "Luna!" he exclaimed, gasping through his anguish. "Kick it away." She did, and the gun clattered into the shadows. Sheila yelled, her face contorted with wrath. You stupid boy. Do you have any idea what you did? I just saved the woman I love, Will stated with gritted teeth. Sheila lunged at him, grabbing his jaw, but he blocked her second attack and pushed her away. She tripped and struck her head on the table's edge. For a little while she stood motionless, not dead, just stunned. Will did not wait. He went to Luna, ripping the bonds from her wrists. She collapsed into his arms, trembling. Can you walk? He asked. She nodded weakly. I believe so. They walked rapidly, ascending the stairs just as thunder rumbled overhead. But when they got to the front door, another man emerged from the shadows. Bill Spencer. Dad? Will froze. What are you doing here? Bill's gaze shifted between them, then to the corridor behind. I followed you. I knew you would come here. Sheila's men are outside. We must move now. Luna clutched Will's arm, her breath trembling. She is still alive. She'll come after us. Not if I can help it, Bill muttered, pulling another pistol from his jacket. Let's end this. They moved for the exit, but the front door sprang open before they could reach it. Two of Sheila's guards barged in, rifles raised. The air crackled with tension, with the scent of rain mingling with gunpowder and fear. Bill fired first, striking one of the soldiers in the shoulder. As gunshots ripped through the walls, Will shoved Luna to the side. He ducked behind a pillar, picked up a fallen weapon and returned fire. It was chaos, with thunder outside and gunfire inside, echoing every stupid decision that had led to this night. And then, just as suddenly as it began, it ended.